Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. What is leverage, you ask? It's a strategic advantage. It's the power to act effectively. It means you come to the table with so much value, they want you more than you need them. If you're a songwriter, if you're an indie artist, if you're a musician, it's all about the leverage. That's what you're going to need to succeed in this music business. It can't just be about your talent anymore. The labels aren't going to find you and develop you and turn you into something that's a leverageable business. That's why we called it the C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. The genius that came up with that is my good friend and co-host and wordsmith, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And Brent also helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then, gosh darn it, he puts you right in front of the pros. He connects you with the pros. You can find Brent super easy at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They help you find your sound, and they help you grow your audience so you can become the artist that everybody loves, and so you can get paid.
Easy for you to say.
Exactly. This is why I don't normally get on mic. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other Johnny D.
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing well. Good to be in the room with you again.
I know. I missed your face.
I know.
In our hot room right now. It's hot in here.
Yeah, don't take that the wrong way.
The AC's not working like I should.
There we go.
I'm not happy about it. I'm grumpy. But anyway, hey, if you haven't had a chance to visit the C.L.I.M.B community, visit the C.L.I.M B community. Go to Facebook. Look for the C.L.I.M B community. Ask to be let in. We will let everybody in, but you can't. It's not a spam place. It's not a. You got to abide by the rules.
Mm-hmm. We don't spam. We jam.
That's right. It's all killer, no filler.
That's right.
If we'll give you some warnings, but you will be roadhoused if you continue to be obnoxious. And there's a lot going on there.
There is.
That's what's cool. Like
conversating.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation. People helping people. Mm-hmm. Are the most beautiful people.
That's right.
and that's what. And Brent and I still, it's growing fast, but we're still getting in on. I think we can safely say like every.
Yeah, we're checking in. We're popping in when we can be of value and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So take 5 seconds, leave a rating and review, and. That 5-star rating if you can. All right, if you like it, do what you got to do. But we want a 5-star. But that helps people who are just thinking about sticking their toe in the water. Is it worth the time to listen to the C.L.I.M.B? I made a rhyme.
Look at that. Look at you,
and I didn't know.
Guy.
And that's going to help them know that it's legit. Subscribe to this podcast and all those episodes, the full episodes on Tuesdays and the mini-sodes on Fridays automatically appear in your phone. It's super, super easy. And the biggest thing you can do is share it. Like you know other musicians, you know other songwriters, you know other people that are in the same struggle you're in. And if you're finding value in this and it's giving you some clarity, share it with them. Let them know, because that's a referral, and it's going to mean a lot more coming from you than some commercial we might put out and say, we're awesome. You should listen to us.
Why? Because we said so. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Now, having said that, what are we going to learn today, buddy?
We're going to learn about how to stay focused on your songwriting journey. So, like if you're a pro songwriter in Nashville, it's pretty easy to stay focused on your job because that's your job and you go in and you work your stuff every day. But, what if you have a day job? What if you live 500 miles from Nashville? What if you have this other stuff going on? It's not your job every day. How do you stay focused on that so you keep grinding and keep pursuing your dream? We're going to tell you some of those ways today. We're going to share that with you so you can stay focused and keep that momentum going and keep grinding.
Awesome. But first,
let's
talk about that 5-star review.
Let's talk about one of those.
We got one right here. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it right here. This is, its title is Trips, and this guy knows you.
Oh, know your audience.
Because it's an acronym.
It is.
And TRIPS stands for Turning Retirement into Pro Songwriting.
Nice.
Man, you're going to steal that? That's a good thing to steal.
That's pretty good stuff. I know.
That's a whole other business division for you.
I know. I'm trying to do turning pro songwriting into retirement. So TPSIR. It's almost stripper, but it's not.
Well, this is by Goldberg Coop, and here it is. It says, when I'm 64 and never too late to begin chasing my lifelong dream of songwriting. Thanks so much for creating this podcast and passing along so much practical and insightful information on songwriting and the music business. My first listen was a game changer concept for my writing. Hands down, 5 stars, and a must-subscribe recommendation for any songwriter, young or old. Thank you, Goldberg Coop.
Thank you.
Just reading that was a trip.
I know. Life is a journey, and songwriting is a trip. So we're going to hopefully help you turn that retirement into pro songwriting. So thanks. All right. So you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go. Like, how do we stay focused, man?
All right. How do we stay focused? Because you know what? It's easy to let that songwriter or artist part of yourself kind of go to sleep. You keep hitting the snooze because life is happening. You got, in my case, you got like 32 kids, and you got, you got stuff going on, right?
Is it 32 years or just 31?
No, that's hyperbole. It's like 28. But anyway, so you got a bunch of kids, you got all this stuff, and then you look up and it's been like a month, and you're like, I haven't done anything toward my musical goals.
Yeah.
I've just been doing life. And sometimes you have to do that. There are seasons, and life, family, yes, important. Feeding your family, important. So these are not bad things, right? But in the midst of that, how do you kind of level out the ebbs and the flows of that so you're kind of constantly moving, right? Because we talked about on a recent podcast the grit.
Yeah.
Just keep going, and how do you hang in there longer than other people? And so, there are natural ebbs and flows to the creative life, and there are times when family needs or work needs will limit your writing time. Okay, like for example, back when Ruby Jean was born, for about 3 months, I didn't do any co-writing. Because Emily needed me at home every night. She was, Ruby Jean, she didn't sleep. She ran on the tears of her parents. I think that was her fuel.
That's a good line right there.
I know. What do you run on? Not sleep? No, I refilled with the tears of my parents. I walked, like a ditch in our hardwood floor around our island downstairs when we were living in the townhome because Ruby just wouldn't sleep unless you were walking her, kind of thing. She
wore a hole in the floor?
Just walking like Ernest Tubb, man, walking the floor with this girl. And, so there are times I didn't have as much bandwidth. But overall, what you need to do, though, is to keep your head in the songwriting game if you're pursuing it as a profession. If you want it to be your profession, you can't afford to take months off just because life got busy. You have to keep thinking like a songwriter. If you don't, you'll look up and find it's 20 years later and you haven't written that many songs and music business progress is not being made. And I don't want that to happen to you. Why? Because we want you to win. We want you to make that progress. We want you to feel motivated on your journey because you're making progress, and we want to equip you to do that. So we're going to help you keep your head in the game. So we're going to share some of that stuff. There are 2 main ways you can do this, okay? 2 main categories. They are appointments and subscriptions. So we're going to talk about appointments first. You ready to talk about appointments, Johnny?
Yeah.
All right, so appointments first. Solo writing. You may not think you need to set an appointment to write by yourself, but I highly suggest it. Nothing will keep you thinking like a songwriter like actually writing songs, right? Yeah. So you and your skills get rusty if you don't kind of what I call keep the machinery up and running. Keep it oiled, keep it running, You let a car sit too long, the tires, go bad, the fuel goes bad, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
It's like, but it was a Maserati 2 years ago. Yeah, but you haven't driven it.
Yeah.
Even boats, you got to get them ready for dry dock over the winter. It's like stuff goes bad if you don't use it. Use it or lose it. Well, the trouble is it's easy to skip out on solo writing in the midst of daily life. Try to have a standing appointment with yourself, even if it's just like every other week, whatever you can do. And hopefully you find other times too that are just, spur of the moment, fortuitous, spontaneous times
where the muse
hits you and you can write.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you mark that on your calendar like, oh, Tuesday night's my writing night, Tuesday morning's my writing morning, or whatever it is. Every other Saturday, honey, I'm going in the garage and I'm plugging in and I'm playing or whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you put that on your calendar. So why? So you don't book over it with stuff that's not as important long term, but it may be more immediate, more seem more pressing because somebody wants you to do something, and no one's going to say anything if you don't go off by yourself and write. Who's going to ding you for that?
Right.
Nobody. Right. And so you need to book that. I mean, I know people that, like in the business world, people will, book their own like margin time, their own solo time for like thinking. Right. In the business world, they'll put it on their calendars, and they don't let anyone book over that. Why? I have a meeting.
Yeah.
With myself.
Because it's real. It's on your calendar.
It's on my calendar. Oh, I'm not available then. Sorry, I got something. I'm already booked then. It doesn't matter if you're booked with yourself or not. You're booked. I got to tell you something. I got two things. Yes.
I want to comment on that about that.
Comment away.
Number one.
Yes.
Is like in the last 3 years, Daredevil has gotten so much busier than when I started it.
Yeah.
And ask me how I learned this lesson, okay? If I don't put a real meeting with somebody else or a real conference call with a client on my freaking calendar, if I don't, and I have to know to take care of business like right then and there. I can't be like, oh, I'm busy, I'm gonna put that on the calendar like later today. Blown, fumble, big time, interception, screwed.
You forget about it, blows out the back. And
totally screwed, So when we make appointments through the podcast, when somebody's like, okay, we're going to do this, like the first thing I do just right off the bat is take care of business and put it on the calendar, because if it's not on the calendar for me, it's not happening. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and I'm going to screw it up, Yeah. So there's real appointments, and I'm screwing them up.
Right.
You think, like maybe you're in the position where you're starting your songwriting business, right? And maybe you're not as busy as you'd like to be or as you envision yourself being.
Right.
But if you don't get in the habit of doing that now, then I'm here to testify. You're not going to be in the habit when it gets busy, and you're going to fumble that football.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, instead of screwing over somebody else, that like if we have this, today we had an appointment to come in here and record the climb.
Yeah.
If you don't show up, I'm standing outside the door knocking on Fort Knox going, Johnny, where are you? Bueller. Right. Bueller. You're screwing me over. Because I got things to do, Johnny.
That's right.
But if you don't write with yourself, you're screwing yourself over.
That's right. And who are you going to respect more? Whose time do you respect more than your own time? Your own stuff. So, and one other thing I wanted to add to that. So, I learned this. Some of you have a significant other that are listening to this podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations on that.
Yes, and congratulations on you. I was married for 8 years. I was with my ex-wife for 12 years. Still friends. Like nothing crazy happened. We just came to an end. But during our marriage, we learned, and I learned this actually from a therapist. Okay, a tool, a really good tool for those of you who have significant others. Because I needed to make a contract with her on what she needed. Like women want men to connect with them. They want to feel connected, And so I wasn't doing my job on that because I'm a dumb Midwestern guy who's completely oblivious to how girls think and stuff like that. And just ask me how I know that. Yeah. But I had to get some of those tools in my toolbox, and he's like, this is what you need to do, like make a contract. But then the reciprocal of that is here's the moments where you don't bug me. Right. So I made a concerted effort because this is what she asked for. Like when you come home from work, I need a half an hour, 45 minutes of your time. I want to talk about my day.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about your day. I want to reconnect, and I want to know that we're a couple, and I just want to feel your energy.
Yeah, we're on the same team. And,
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay. And then what do you need? Okay, I need two things. Okay, when I'm in the studio mixing, you're welcome to come in and hang out, or if I'm recording a project or whatever, because I had a studio in my house, you're welcome to come in and hang out. Sometimes we're drinking in there or whatever, join a party.
Yeah.
But unless the house is burning down, this is not the time where we're going to connect.
Yeah.
I'm working here.
You can hop on the train that's rolling. You're not going to...
Have fun. Come and hang. And she would do that a lot. We had a great time. It was a hang. And we got some characters coming to the studio.
Right.
It's fun. It's a fun hang. But this is not the time to
talk about whether or not
talk about our feelings.
Redo the hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Or something that's off. I can't handle that right.
And here was the term. Actually, I'll rephrase what I said before that women want to connect. What the therapist said is one of my best friends, I lost him a couple years ago, but he was like, women want men to be in attendance, right?
Yeah.
And if you make appointments to be in attendance, you can get like a regular hall pass to be out of attendance. So there was 2 times when I needed to be out of attendance. When I'm in the studio, you can come and hang, but I don't have to be in attendance.
Right.
I'm focusing on this over here, and because I'm in the mode, I'm in the zone, I'm in beast mode, you know. And then the other time was for 3 hours on a Sunday for the Packer game. Like, you know, I don't want you wandering in front of the TV, wanting to talk about your feelings. Like when I'm watching the Packers, okay, can we do that? And that was a fair exchange for me, just consistently doing that. So I think sometimes the songwriters out there and artists out there trying to write songs and do their thing, man, if you're not thinking about it that way with your significant other, you can feel like you don't ever have time or you're always getting nagged. But a contract like that can make the difference in the world and help you be.
Yeah, and one thing I learned too is to be fully present where I am. I mean, I'm still working on that. But like, you know, talking about the football thing, like when we just had Ozzy and Ruby, or maybe just when we had Ozzy and he's little, and it's a Saturday in the fall, and I kind of had the game on, and Emily's gone to do whatever Emily's doing and get groceries or whatever, or do hair, and I'm, you know, watching Ozzy, but then I'm kind of trying to watch the game too that I don't really care about, but I want to watch some football, and then I'm not really with him, and I'm not really watching the game, and I'm just ticked off.
Yeah,
because I'm not being a good dad or a good football fan.
Yeah,
it was so much better to just turn off the TV. Because obviously, can't just turn the kid off.
Right.
Just turn off the TV and go, I'm just going to hang out.
You can, but it'd be illegal.
Way illegal. If you're going to fail at something, fail at watching a football game you don't really care about anyway. Not this person's going to pick out your nursing home. So, anyway, you know, turn it off, be present with Ozzy. And then I'd have fun.
Yeah.
Because I love my kid.
Yeah.
But I just had to go, I'm all in. And then it was so much better. I was less stressed and I was happier. And he had a better experience. We bonded more. So I wonder if some of that can go like, okay, here's my time to be all in on songwriting versus like I'm kind of stealing moments here and there. So I'm not really present. You know, I'm kind of working on stuff while I'm on the couch with my wife and kind of watching TV. So I'm not in attendance and I'm not. You get a lot of half done. You don't do either very well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm going to go all in. I don't care if we're just watching I Love Lucy. I'm here with you. And then I'm going to go right, and I'm going to be all in. I think you'll have more grace to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
you're going to have you built up those emotional deposits where you're not going to feel, because the other thing is sometimes when and this was me, I'm speaking from personal experience, like before I made that contract with Ant, I would be out in the studio like I got to get this done, knowing that I haven't connected, and so now I'm trying to freaking work over here, and I'm thinking about that,
right.
and it's like, and I'm defocused, and I'm worried about like, when's she gonna come in and ask me some stupid question, because all she wants to do is connect.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, and Anne was not ever a nag. Like the opposite of that, you know. I mean, the coolest chick you can hang with, and still, but I'm like, you know. And what am I doing? I'm mixing and thinking about that. Like,
right. I'm mixing with mixed emotions.
Yeah. It was a mess, right?
Right. So, we really got on deeper into that topic than I thought.
Well, I thought, okay, sorry.
But then, no, that's great though, because that matters. That's how you can help book some of that time, so you can be present where you are. So, yes,
that's
you
right.
can free up some of that time by going, this time is all family or this time is all work, and then when it's time to go beast mode on writing, it's on the calendar, we know what's up.
And boom. Make the deal, and you'll get the grace.
Exactly. I mean, my wife and I, you know, I work from home, you know, I'm flexible, and I don't have to go be places, let's have appointments like this, whatever, but I still got one of those. I went to Staples and got one of those little dry erase, you know, like business hours you know, that you can hang in the store, and I put it in my office, and I, you know, each week I try to go, well, here are my hours, you know, for this week. And it's pretty standard, so Em knows the deal now. But that way, there's the expectation of like, hey, these are my hours, but you know when I'm getting off.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it keeps me accountable, because otherwise I can let that grow into a monster that consumes everything. And I've burned a lot of emotional capital with my wife at times too. Yeah. And I don't want to do that. Life doesn't work as well.
Nope.
So solo writing time. So don't just schedule it, actually show up, sit down, and do the work. Yep. That's the other thing. Don't just schedule it, be accountable to yourself. All right, the next thing under appointments is co-writing. So still kind of easy not to show up for your solo writing appointments. So try scheduling regular co-writing appointments. You might let yourself down, but you're probably less likely to bail out on somebody else, right? Because you don't want them calling you and wondering where you are.
Yep.
So even if you don't live around many potential co-writers, the internet is a wonderful place to find and all kinds of new people. So Facebook groups such as the C.L.I.M.B community, which we should talk about, the Songwriting Pro Facebook group. These are good non-spammy places to meet potential co-writers. It's not
we have like a co-writer connect thing.
Yeah, we'll throw that out there,
which is genius.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, if you're looking for co-writers, tell us a little bit about yourself and link to one of your songs under this post. And that's like the corner you can go and them the little mixer, the little cocktail party. You can listen to other people's stuff and you know that they're looking for co-writers too.
You're in the country too? I am too. You like writing country music?
I do like writing country music.
Let's write one together.
I like writing both kinds, country and western.
Both kinds of music.
All right, yeah. So, these days, and the beauty of it these days, man, writers are so much more comfortable writing over video conferencing platforms like Skype, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, Zoom, whatever. Your weapon of choice is. More and more people do that. Even people that live in town will do that. I've done that with people across town. Yeah. Just because somebody's watching a kid or somebody's got to waiting for the UPS guy to show up and they got to be there, the cable guy. Like, I can't leave the house. Well, tell you what, meet over that. So, and you can sure do that. I've done that with people in Canada and other places too. It's just more and more common. So co-writing keeps your head in the game more than just like when you're actually doing the writing. Mm-hmm. So you won't just start thinking about the co-write as you're walking in the door of the writer's room or logging on to Skype or whatever. You think about it ahead of time, right? You see it on your calendar. Oh, I'm writing with Jason this week. Okay, what am I? I got to be thinking about that, because the fact that you have an appointment coming up and a co-writer expecting you, you're going to take it more seriously, and it's going to encourage you to spend some time gathering ideas, prepping, maybe tinkering with a melody, a piece of lyric, an idea. You want to come into the room with something, and so that helps keep your head in the game because you're looking for that. You have that target, like, okay, Jason or Matt or somebody's going to be waiting on me.
And you're going to be doing some mental prep,
and it's it's an open loop. Something your brains will be working on to help you keep your head in the game. So even if you don't have ideas, you're going to be listening for some more than if you just it's open ended and I'll get an idea when I get an idea. Yeah. So other types of appointments: education. So books, online courses, other resources are a great way to keep your dream in front of you. So you may be in a season where you don't have like hours of time to sit down and write, like a block of 3 or 4 hours. So maybe your appointment is just a few minutes that you have to read in bed, like a songwriting book or something, or a blog. Mm-hmm. So reading that book or just having it on the nightstand, is going to keep reminding you that you have a dream to chase. So even if it's just stealing a few minutes to go, oh, it's on the Songwriting Pro blog today. It can help just kind of open that loop and remind you.
That's a bit. Listen, that is more important than most people think, and I think everybody understands the value of it because they benefited at one time or another from something like that. But very few people are intentional about it. Like, your dream is a living, breathing energy. Like, it's a thing, and it needs to be fed. Right. You'd be amazed at, like, if you've ever had like low blood sugar, like I get hangry, like I go a certain point and then I'm just like incorrigible. I become unreasonable, the people that I've spent time with, like they know it now. Yeah. They're like, oh, but they can just see it right away. Like, let's get you some food, and then the next 2 hours of my life are just gonna be a lot better.
Ozzy's that way, man. We finally figured that out with him when he's just going bonkers and just like everything's the worst thing. We're like, you hungry? Yeah. Here's a juice box or something, And then he's like the happiest kid again. And so you're, for your songwriting career, when you feed that with some new information, a different perspective, something positive, it's a big health check, man. It's like, even if you're feeling a little sick, even if you're feeling a little run down, a little old, a little tired, boy, that is nothing like that to jump it right back in. So. Oh yeah, because the books and the online classes, blogs, all that stuff, they'll give you tools to write better songs and make progress in the music business. And progress, what does that make you hungry for? It makes you hungry for more progress. That's right. So you spend more time thinking and working toward that, because I've heard it said that one major factor in whether or not you feel happy, or one of the biggest things that you can do to make you happy, is to make progress. Like, that's when we're happy. It's progress. It's not sitting on top of the mountain. It's climbing higher up that mountain and going, I'm higher than I was yesterday. I got a better view. And it's that progress that really gives you a sense of well-being and excitement and happiness. And so, to do those things where you feel like, oh, I got a new chord, or I got a new voice, I got new tuning, I got some new way of constructing a lyric. that I learned about, or whatever that is. It kind of feels like progress. Or I took a swing today and somebody heard my song that had never heard my song before in the business, and even if they passed, somebody heard it and I got an at bat.
Yep.
All that is progress.
I'm on their radar screen.
I'm on their radar.
They know my name.
That's a chance I never even had before.
Yep.
And that's progress, and it gets you wanting more, and that helps keep you focused on that. The other thing is events. So like workshops, other events can be really beneficial. You may find potential co-writers and just like friends, good hangs at live events like conferences, like we had the C.L.I.M.B conference earlier this year out in Utah. You'll leave those things fired up and motivated. You'll also leave wiser and with a few more songwriting tools in your tool belt. So again, leads back to that progress. Plus, you'll be in the company, like either in person or online, you'll be in the company of other motivated, inspired, and inspiring songwriters. So sometimes you just need to know you're not alone.
Yeah.
So you find those friends, and when you're talking to them, it's going to be about songwriting or music business and stuff, and it just helps keep that on your mind and keeps you motivated and focused and not forgetting that you're a creative and that's what you're chasing. So if you're in the market for a cool community with like monthly online events at a super affordable price, I happen to have one.
Tell us about it.
Yes.
I love it.
It's Freddie.com, FRETTIE.com. In the future, actually, we're going to rebrand it as Songwriting Pro. We're all going to roll that in.
It's all going to be the same.
So,
okay.
yeah, this is kind of the announcement for that. And, man, if we can get the tech worked out, we're going to make that happen. So, Songwriting Pro in the future, or Freddie, FRETTIE.
It's in a guitar fret.
Yeah, we do monthly hangouts online where people from all over the world, gather up online and we do ask questions. We're going to be doing some other cool stuff in the future, but we have a private Facebook group and just a lot of stuff to meet other people, like-minded people, events that are free for members that where you get to meet with pros. We talk about one of the big things I want to do is connect you to the pros. We do those on a regular basis, so that's something to check out. It's Freddie.com. So that's what I have for appointments.
Okay.
Now we move on to subscriptions.
All right.
Foreshadow a little bit of this. So subscriptions, blogs. So appointments are things you set and you go to. Subscriptions, they show up to you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of that. So blogs, you can get informed, educated, entertained, and inspired all from your email inbox. How easy is that? So I humbly suggest songwritingpro.com. But also Daredevil, you blog on there some.
I've been guilty. We've been so busy. Like I'm blogged in quite a few months, about 4 or 5 months, and
but
I
your
got to get back on
business is growing, so it's
good. There's about 4 years of blogs on there.
Yeah, there you go. So you can go check those out. I didn't want to leave you out. I didn't want anyone to think I was,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Disc Makers has a good blog too.
Killer blog, yeah, so, with lots of different fingers in that pie, lots of different guest bloggers and stuff there.
Yeah, we both guest blogged on there. Other people are on
good
there.
Stuff on
so
there.
we're fans of Disc Makers.
Yep.
And
yes,
so that has a good blog. And so there are a bunch of good blogs out there that you can check out. But again, that's keeping your head in the game because, like, if you're a Songwriting Pro, if you subscribe to that blog, several times a week, you're going, here's a Wordplay Thursday. Some little way to get the creative juices flowing, or here's a blog on Monday, and here's a these different things you can get, and here's a little something to feed that part of me, either a craft lesson, a business lesson, something like that. Keep your head in the game. The other good thing is, you might never have thought of, Johnny, this might surprise you, podcasts.
Stop it.
What? It's a thing?
Are they cool? Do people listen?
Some people do.
People break records every single month with downloads and provide information and create friends? Sometimes, yes!
So, if you're like me, you have more time for listening than you do for reading, if you're in the car or whatever. And lucky for you, podcasting is exploding. So this can turn your daily commute, your jog, or your dog walk into a songwriting and music business workshop and inspiration refill. So
I'm a total podcast junkie.
Oh, yeah, I love them. I don't have as much time to listen now that I'm not in the car as much.
Yeah.
So they're stacking up, so I have to be ruthless about what I listen to. But, yeah, I love them. It's great. And if I'm doing something that doesn't...
Take the dogs on a longer walk.
Yeah, I do that. I walk the dogs. If I'm doing, just kind of grunt work that doesn't, involve the higher level thinking, like writing a blog post or something, then I'll have them going all the time.
There you go.
But obviously, you're listening to this, dear climber, so you know what podcasts are, right? But there's some other good ones, and I'm all about growing. Rising tide lifts all boats. So I want to recommend a couple. The Bobby Cast is really good. It's Bobby Bones.
So good.
Has a huge country radio show, and he talks to songwriters and other people. It gets pretty inside baseball. It gets pretty deep.
Yeah.
which is really good if you want to get a sense for how the business works. And
there's a
get
couple
man.
episodes where I was like, man,
I can't believe they're saying that.
Yeah, like that was crazy cool.
Yeah.
Like crazy cool. Like he's a good interview.
Yeah, he just goes there because he's like, I'm in radio.
Yeah.
Like, I don't whatever.
Interview.
Yeah. But he's interested and loves writers and stuff. So that's a great one. And the writer is a good one. It's pop. It's Ross Golan. He's a hit pop writer. Okay. Interviews other hit pop songwriters and artists and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So didn't go deep into the craft, but you get some of that and you get their backstory. But it's definitely more pop based.
Okay.
Listen to that one. Made It in Music podcast. It's Seth Mosley and the folks who are at Full Circle Music. Seth, he's producing High Valley, which is having hits on country radio. But man, he is just killing it in the CCM world. Okay. Christian music, I mean, writing and producing tons of CCM hits, and it's an interview-based show. So they bring in people from all parts of the business, some country, but a lot of in the Christian world, gospel world, interviews with legit people in the business, and Seth is legit. So that's a good one. Pitch List is a really good one. It's hit songwriters talking to hit songwriters, basically. It's really good. So the Pitch List, who's Chris Lindsay? He wrote Amazed for Lone Star. He's the host of it, and so he'll bring in just great writers and talk about the business pro to pro. Yeah. So that's a really good one. You got NSAI Coffee Break, Songcraft, which is really good. They talk more like legendary writers, like what's his name? Walk This Way, and
Steven Tyler?
No, the guy that wrote it with him.
Joe Perry?
I can't remember his name right now, but he's a writer. But all these like Hall of Fame songwriters, they get in there, and like your Diane Warren level kind of classic songwriters. Right. And
he wrote Walk This Way with Stephen Perry, didn't he?
He might have, but there was another. I can't remember his name right now, and that's really going to bother me.
Is the third writer on Walk This Way that I don't know about?
I think it was on Walk This Way. Maybe not that one, but
you're thinking of a later song. You're thinking of when they were brought back from the dead by Geffen Records and John Kalodner, and they did some Jim Valance or with Crazy, or I think they did some stuff with he wrote I Was Made for Loving You, Babe. Desmond Child.
Oh, Desmond Child. That's
Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, Desmond Child.
That was not Walk This Way. Yeah, that was the later stuff. No.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Walk This Way was like in the 70s, and that was when it was just Joe
and Steven. Well, there we go. Edgig McCamey.
Arguably first rap song ever written. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. But yeah, you get guys like that just on the Songcraft podcast. So, and of course, the C.L.I.M.B. So these shows are each a little bit different, right? They're all a little different slice of that pie, but they all give you a valuable insider's look at the music business from a songwriting.
So wait a second, we went sideways. Desmond Child's got a podcast?
No, he was like interviewed on Songcraft show, and you get guys that wrote stuff for Elvis. You get guys that wrote stuff.
Desmond Child, I mean, songs for Aerosmith, wrote I Was Made for Loving You for Kiss. Wrote
Bon Jovi stuff, a bunch of Bon Jovi stuff.
Yeah, wrote Living on a Prayer. Co-wrote that with him and Richie. Wrote Mi Vida Loca for Ricky Martin. Like he's nothing but major hits. I mean, he's so sick with it.
It is. So they talk to guys like and girls like that wrote like old, like I said, Elvis cuts and classic country songwriters.
Oh my gosh!
So
he interviewed
really,
Mac Davis
cool.
at all?
Do I?
Has he interviewed Mac Davis at all?
Yeah, Mac Davis is interviewed on there.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I gotta get that.
So it's
what's
a
that
good
one called?
The Songcraft Show, or just Songcraft? Yeah. So it's good stuff. And that's more, people's journeys and stuff, and they don't get as deep into like nuts and bolts of like how to construct songs, but it's really cool. So, all right, so podcast, and you got blogs, and the other thing is YouTube, man. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Yeah. So just do a search for songwriting advice from hit songwriters or something like that, and you'll have more to look at than you know what to do with.
Yeah, there's a billion of them.
Yeah. Now, I can't vouch for how accurate or authoritative everything will be on YouTube. Actually, I can. I can vouch that some will be great and some will be junk. Yeah. I can say that with authority. But either way, looking at that stuff is going to remind you that that you are a songwriter. Yeah. But remember, don't spend so much time doing this that you never pick up the guitar or pen and don't write.
Yeah,
right?
Parallelization by analyzation.
Exactly, yeah. And the last thing on this is magazines. So you can check out American Songwriter, Music Row Magazine, among others. So basically turn your hall bathroom into your own personal inspiration zone.
There you go.
You know?
You got some time.
If you're just hanging out, that's a good thing to do. So you got YouTube and song and magazines, podcasts, and blogs for your subscriptions. What about you guys? What do you guys do to keep your head in the game, climbers? So I would love for you to go to the Climb community when this episode drops, and under the post for this episode, let us know what you do to keep your head in the game.
Yeah.
Are you doing stuff by appointment, by subscription, do you only work by inspiration? Shame on you. Or what do you do? What are things that keep your head in the game? We want to share, because I don't pretend that this is an exhaustive list. So anything else that you might do.
And there's always some cool outside things that you hadn't thought of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So share those with us. Have you tried some of these? Do you do some of these? I'd love to hear your feedback and see what you have to say about it. But you know what? If you are looking for an opportunity to get inspired and hang out with a music industry pro to keep your head in the game, get some inside information, I have a great opportunity for you. In August, I'm hosting a Know the Row event. Now, I've hosted these before. I've had hit songwriter Byron Hill on. I've had music publisher Chad Green. I've had hit songwriter Jimmy Erie. And this time we're doing a music publisher Scott Shared of Rare Spark Media. Scott used to be my plugger at Major Bob Music. Okay. And he's had his hand in a bunch of hits, sync licenses, that kind of stuff. Right now he's over at Rare Spark. One of their writers is rising country star Walker Hayes, who wrote You Broke Up With Me, and this current single Craig, which is just amazing.
I haven't heard that yet.
Oh, it's so
good. You Broke Up With Me is brilliant.
It's great, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. And so I just had coffee with Scott yesterday, actually. Matter of fact, just kind of catching up with him and stuff. And he's a great guy, veteran in the business. I mean, knows what he's doing. And so on August 14th, you can hang out online and ask your questions with Scott. We do a Zoom event. And so basically you show up, it looks like, the Brady Bunch. Mm-hmm. And Scott's going to be on there. I'm going to ask him a couple questions. And then I open the floor to you guys to ask your questions of a real live music industry pro.
Yeah, he's get connected with the pros.
And in person, it's online, so you can join from anywhere in the world. If you just want to wake up in the middle of the night, you can join us from Scotland. Yeah. Or Australia, it doesn't matter. And the great news is, this is free for members of Freddie.com. Right. So if you're a member of Freddie, which is like $5 a month right now, you just join that. Yeah, we do these on a regular basis.
It's coffee.
It's coffee, yeah. And we save the video replay and we put it in the Freddie members area. So if you're a member, you can also catch up on the ones you've missed, and you'll have lifetime access to all that. But even if you don't want to enjoy all the benefits, right? We made a few tickets available for non-members. Okay. So you still have a chance to check it out and show up. You can get all the details just by downloading my free ebook at giftfrombrent.com. I send you a free ebook, Think Like a Pro Songwriter, and what that does is put you on the Songwriting Pro Insiders list, and so I'll send you details about that as well. So whether you're listening to this now or in the future, which I guess is now for you.
Whoa, dude. What if dog were spelled C-A-T?
Well, anyway, so you can always go to Gift from Brent. That's getting late in the day. You can always go to giftfrombrent.com, and that way you get the scoop on that or whatever future Know the Row event we're having coming up. So it's always relevant. We'll pretty much always have one coming up, but you can check that out at giftfrombrent.com. But Johnny, any parting thoughts or anything?
No, I mean, I think that's killer. You give anybody who's feels like they're ready to stick their toe in the water and start making relationships, a chance to connect with the pros. Perfect. Yeah. Where else are you going to get that from? All of a sudden, for those of you who have a new problem, now the excuse of, I don't know any professional publishers and stuff like that is out the window.
Or I don't know the answer to this. Well, good. Why don't you ask somebody that's having hits as a publisher?
There you go. Ask them. Or revel in the not knowing.
And the not knowing. There's your handy excuse.
Revel and suffer. Exactly. If you prefer to suffer, or you could fix the problem.
Ignorance is bliss.
But all right, guys, well, that brings us to the end of another Killer Climb episode. Join the Climb community on Facebook if you haven't already. You have to ask to be let in. We let everybody in. Be good boys and girls, or you will be roadhoused. Subscribe to the podcast. in touch with this whole messaging of
and
this.
Keep your head in the game.
Keep your head in the game. It automatically comes every Tuesday for the full episode, and we got a mini-sode every Friday with song title challenge, and every other Friday it's Expand Your Brand with the lovely Miss Lexi Upeghi, the digital marketing manager of Daredevil Production. And learn. Share it with people. If you like it, share it. That's the best thing you could do for us, because it's a referral.
For your friend.
And for your friend. You're helping them out, right?
Exactly.
It makes you look cool. And finally, take a few seconds, leave a 5-star rating and a review on iTunes. It lets people know that we're legit and what's going on. It's going to be worth their time. And straight up, the numbers show once people listen to it once, they go back and they binge listen to everything. They find it valuable. So I promise you're going to be cool if you tell other people. All right, guys. Well, listen, this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.